Let's start with some patting exercises, right? So open up the palms, right? And clip the two valleys together. And then right where the doctor feels your pulse. And you want to cup your hand with an open palm like this, right? What you're doing is putting little puffs of chi into your acupuncture points. And the other side. And if you go up your forearm here, go up your forearm almost to your elbow, right? To the fat part of the muscle there. And then just a little bit over, a little bit to the outside. There's a place there. You may have done this when you were a kid. You can hit that spot and it'll make your fingers twitch. All right? That's an acupuncture point called arm 3 miles. All right? Same thing there. And the other side. There's different ways to do this exercise, all these exercises. You can call them up on YouTube and see how different people do them. A lot of people do them like this, right? They just slap with open palm, bam, 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 and that's okay, especially in the winter. However, we're doing them like Master Hu used to do them, so they're a little more on the medicinal side than just slapping yourself, right? All the way down, all the way back up, all the way down, all the way back up. Shift your weight. All right, and you're pinching yourself, you're massaging yourself. Now, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So I don't know whether I was talking with all of you or maybe just Genevieve. But I think there is a whole routine called Hunyan Qigong, and we're doing a very shortened version of it on Sunday mornings. But I thought maybe starting in the fall term we would do the whole routine. Now to do it and to teach it takes more than an hour. So we would probably have to take 2 hours on Sunday morning to go through this for a month or so. But what we just did, or variations on what we just did, is a good way to start it. It's just a good way to wake the body up and kind of get to where you are. Let me show you something here. So this is Master Feng's monograph. It's a very short book. It's a monograph on Hunyan Qigong, as he learned it from Master Hu. So Kevin made us a PDF of this back in the day. You can't get this book anymore, of course, but I happen to have a couple of copies. So I'll make sure you all get the PDF. And what we'll do is we'll just go through the book, all right, chapter by chapter, and I'll make sure also you get. This is full of my notes and stuff, but this is my note page condensing the contents of what we might do. Normally, you don't do everything because it's just too much. They're all very easy, simple exercises, but they all take a little time. So generally, you sort of pick and choose. But to learn this whole thing, you have to do the whole thing. So maybe starting in September, we'll go through this little by little and work up to where we can do the whole thing. When I was practicing with Master Zhang, we did the same kind of thing. And hold on just a second. And generally we did the whole routine. So we would start at 9 o'clock and go till 10 o'clock, but we all knew the routine. So we didn't have to stop and talk about it and you're just doing this and doing that. That takes a lot of time to do that, but I think we should do that. So maybe starting in September we'll go through this, and I'll give you all that material, and then we'll go through it. This is material that Master Hu learned up in the Wudang Mountains. The Wudang Mountains are famous in China. That's where all the Taoist adepts live. You know, they're up there living in their little meditation houses and whatever, and practicing Qigong and Tai Chi up there. And they claim that they're the ones who invented Tai Chi. But of course we know that's not true. It's actually the Chen family that invented Tai Chi. I don't know which one's true. They're both true. Okay, so go ahead and grab your stick. We'll do a little stick work. And the other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And ping circles. And reverse. And reverse. Shift your weight. Right, left, right, left. Stretch. Stretch from the bottom of the foot to the top of the head. Stretch. 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 Master Feng used to say, your body has 5 bows. And by bow, he meant like a bow and arrow. All right, you've got 5 bows. 2 arms, 2 legs, and your trunk. And, you know, a bow is a bow. It's not straight like this. It's relaxed. All right? There's always a little flex in your elbows. You never straighten them out. You always keep them a little flexed. It's the same with your knees, same with your hips, same with your back. It's all flexed slightly, so it's never stiff. But also you don't bend them too much either. If you bend your arm past 90 degrees, you lose most of the strength in the arm. You can try it. Have somebody push on you with your arm like this, there's not much you can do. If you keep it open above, that is greater than 90 degrees, you can push it out much more easily. So you keep a little flex, you just don't do a big bend. All right? Flex. Flex. And the flex, the flex in the body allows you to expand and contract. Expand and contract. Expand, stretch. Now you just relax and it'll contract naturally, and then expand and stretch, and then contract. That is, you just relax and then stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch. All right, and block. Stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract. And contraction is more about relaxation than anything else. Relax and stretch, relax and stretch, relax and stretch, relax and stretch. Stretch. Stretch, 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 stretch. You know, in a lot of Western exercise modalities, you always do everything to 100%. In fact, you do a lot of things to 120%. But you don't do that in Qigong and Tai Chi. You go more between about 80% and 20%. So you give yourself a little bit of a break, both stretching and contracting. So when I stretch, now yeah, it's a nice stretch, but I'm not trying to rip my arms out. It's not like like that. It's just relax. Huh? Stretch, relax, stretch. You know, to 80% of what you can do. All right? And then relax 20%. 80%, 20%, 80%. Right? So you're working in that 60%, right in the middle. Okay, let's paddle our kayak, right? Shift your weight. Now on this exercise, on all these exercises, it's really easy to think it's about the stick, right? That you're moving the stick like this, but you're not. What's moving the stick is your hips. Watch this hip. Right? That hip going back is what's moving the stick. My left hip going back moves the stick. My right hip going back moves the stick. And then reverse. And again, it's your hip pushing forward. And then the other side, your hip pushes forward. So I'm saying your hip pushes forward, and that's true. But it's your whole side, right? The whole, when you're on the right side and you're pushing forward with the right hip, it's really the whole right side of the body is spiraling. The whole side of the body. And then the whole side of the body on this side. If you don't know the trick, what you end up doing is using your shoulders. And you're going to get really sore shoulders really fast. Right? It's the body. Yeah, my shoulders are hardly even moving. Kevin, what's the formula for force?
Mass times acceleration.
Mass times acceleration. So if you're only using your arms, you're one of the factors in that, the mass is very small. All right? But if you're using your whole body, now you have the mass of your whole body pushing. Push, push, push. Now you've got a great deal more force. Okay, good. All right, stretch. Oh, especially your spine. So the trick with pumps like this really has to do with your shoulders and your upper back. And for a lot of folks, those are very, very tight and even painful. So when and if you lead classes in this, you should explain at the beginning. What you don't want to do is this. You don't want to move your head forward because that's cheating, right? So instead your center stays strong. You don't move your head around, right? What you do is you move your shoulders back. Now, for some people, that is not comfortable, and you should let them know you don't have to do that if it's uncomfortable, right? So you can just come back to here, right? Just be gentle with yourself, but the idea is to move your shoulders back, and that opens your upper back. Okay, good. Okay, you can put away your sticks. All right, let's do the quad. And reverse. So when you do the quad, one of the things you're doing is you're bicycling this area of the body down here, really low on the spine. And by bicycling, I mean you're going like this, all right? So the two sides are in opposition to each other, and that will open up your SI joints, your sacroiliac joints, and get a little flex going in there. But it doesn't just stop there. Because you're doing that kind of flexing, it starts a wave, and that wave goes all the way up your spine to the top of your head. And you may find yourself getting some spontaneous spinal adjustments as you go along, and you'll feel pop, 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 right? That's good. And just relax and let that wave happen through your body. Okay. Belly rolls. Belly rolls are one of my favorites because I have a lower back injury from years and years and years and years and years ago. And it's still there, it'll always be there, but this really helps me flex that area. To do this right, you have to picture your trunk going from your perineum to your solar plexus. All right? And you're going to start by taking the energy from the solar plexus down to the perineum in the front, and then under your crotch, and then up your back again to the solar plexus, and then out through the body and down the front, under, up the back, right? That's what you're really doing. You're not trying to do anything with your belly. Right? So you should be able to see what you're doing is reversing the natural curve of the lumbar area. So your back has a natural curve in it like this, right? So I'm looking forward in this direction. And what you're doing is opening that and then closing it, and opening and closing it. You're flexing it, in other words. Bring the energy back, forward, back, forward. Open up the lumbar area, close, open, close, open, close. And reverse. Up the front, down the back. Forward, 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 forward. And good. Let's do shoulders. And reverse. All the way from the bottom of the foot up to the shoulder. And the other side. And reverse. And alternates. And reverse. And double. And reverse. And good. Kevin, do you know what move this is? you punch towards someone, for instance, right at the throat. But you're at enough of a distance that you can't really land the punch, right? Then the fingers go out.
All I could remember was the Wing Chun name for that.
Yeah, yeah, I
You-
forget, I forget the name. It's screw you, right? Boom, boom. Um, I was just thinking about that because as we're doing that exercise, you should be paying attention to the chi path. The chi path. That's what you're focusing on, right? So if I'm going to move this shoulder, it's going to have to be from the bottom of that foot. Oh, you can feel it. The whole body. Now from the bottom of this foot up to this shoulder. When you do that punch and your fingers come out, where does the chi path start? It starts on the bottom of the foot. You're punching him with the end of your fingers. But where the power comes from is the bottom of the foot, all right? The whole body is involved in all these exercises. So let's do the wrist. Don't forget the bottom of your feet. It's the bottom of your feet that are moving your wrist and your waist. And the other side. Master Zhang used to say, if I don't show you, you won't see it. If I don't show you, you won't see it. All right? I'm going to exaggerate this so you can see it. All right? It's your weight shift and your waist turn. It's the whole body that's turning your wrist. Why did he say you wouldn't see it? Because he had practiced so long that it didn't show up in his physical body. It's his energy body that's doing it. Double. And stretches. And the other side. And reverse. And the other side. And relax your wrists. And the ankles. And the other side. And circle. reverse. And the other side. And reverse. So I'm gonna tell you about the shortest Tai Chi lesson I ever had. Pushing hands with Grandmaster Feng. So I was at a big 4-day retreat at Pema Aso Ling down above Santa Cruz, and Master Feng had come from China, and he did a 4-day workshop. And during that workshop, he came up and saluted and said, "Let's push hands," right? So I said, "Okay, let's push hands." And right, so one of the ways you start push hands is just a double forearm push, push, push. You do a drill for a while, and then you can free press. So I started started to move in on him really, really slowly because I wanted to feel his energy. All right. So this explanation is much longer than the actual lesson. So I pushed in on him, and he had his forearm on my forearm. And I don't know whether I can demonstrate this. Watch this hand. That's all he did. But when he did it, his whole body did it. And it neutralized my push. That is, my energy going in was no longer going in. He hadn't moved more than a quarter of an inch. Boom. That was it, right? And I just stood back and saluted him and laughed and said, "That's all I can take." I can still feel that little lesson from 25 years ago. All right? I can still feel that tiny little change. That was the lesson. You can't do this unless you use your whole body with every movement. And the only way you can use your whole body with every movement is to relax. So that when you move, that point of contact was one little thing. But even his ankles spiraled. Everything spiraled. Just a tiny little bit. And that's what it was like working with Feng and Master Zhang. You would tie up with them and do a little something. It's like they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything, but you can't beat them. You can't do anything to them. And they can drop you to the ground so fast, and you go, "What did he just do?" Feng was pushing with somebody else, and a big guy. And this big guy comes in, and Master Feng accepts the energy coming in, and this is exactly what happened. And then he just walked forward right through the guy. Now, of course, it was a big guy, so you couldn't really walk through him, but it's like this guy wasn't even there. All right? And, Feng kind of laughed afterward, and he didn't speak any English at all, or literally two words, thank you and hello and goodbye. He said, "Do you know what I did?" And everybody goes, there's like 200 people watching him. "No, we don't know what you did." He said, "I put my danqian behind him, and then I walked into my danqian." I didn't even know he was there. All right? That is possible to do. I've done it. You go, "What are you talking about? You put your danqian behind him?" Try it sometime. Takes a little practice, but it's possible to do it. And when you do these Qigong, when you do the Qigong and the Tai Chi, that's what you should be playing with the whole time, is that kind of awareness of your body. It's much more talented than you can possibly imagine. Okay, guys, have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What if you put your dantian into someone else?
Oh, yes, that's very interesting. What do you think would happen?
I don't know.
Well, then you need to get a partner and find out.
Well, yeah, that's actually something that I've been thinking about is I would like to do some push hands. Um,
Push hands is an art in and of itself, and most people who do push hands have no idea what they're doing.
mhm,
So Master Zhang, for instance, said he did not want us pushing with anybody outside of class.
mhm.
And the reason is because they don't know what they're doing. They think it's sparring or they think it's even fighting. And you do not want to get into that because you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's the question is because I know Jack was doing something in the park on Sundays or something.
Yes, he's working with Michael, and
Uh-huh.
you could go and work with Michael and do some push hands.
Okay.
However, push hands to really truly kind of get it probably takes you about 6 months of
Yeah.
doing it weekly
Right.
because you sort of have to get out of your own way, and it takes longer to get out of your own way than you think it's going to.
Oh no, I know about getting in my own way.
Well, that would be good to do, Jill, because push hands is a wonderful art. Just make sure when you're pushing with someone that it's fine to push with Michael. It's
Mhm.
probably fine to push with the people in his class. Just don't push with a stranger.
No.
And I'll tell you why. Half the people who get involved with martial arts are crazy. And you do not want to, oh, I'm going to do a little pushing and then find out this guy's half crazy because they'll hurt you.
Well, I was gonna try working with my lovely husband.
Yes, it's a good
Um,
idea.
uh, but I don't know if he's willing.
Well, I tell you what, that's an interesting idea. Maybe one of these days, maybe when Kevin's up here,
Mhm.
he and I could do some push hands, and you all could either bring a partner or just kind of learn. And the first thing to do is learn some very basic, simple drills, two-person drills,
Okay.
and just doing the drills will train your body. You'll learn a lot about push hands just doing the drills. And you should always start every push hand session with drills, just to kind of get into the right place. But really, I know I'm kind of emphasizing this, but just don't push with people you don't know and trust.
No, I don't think I could do that.
You know.
Yeah, even in class it's tough, Jill, because I remember, one guy was pushing and was pushed pretty hard, and he ended up crying, and you feel like you just feel weird. It's like triggers all this weird animal stuff that you didn't know you
Yes.
had in you.
Yeah.
Or another
Well,
another way to put it is it's going to activate your ego. And if the guy's got an ego problem and has to win, you'll end up getting hurt because he can't stand to lose. And you may think, oh, he's the nicest guy in the world, but something happens,
mhm.
and you need to push hands with people that you can trust.
Yeah. Well, my experience with it was like so intimate. Like you're in someone's business,
Yes,
super duper. And
yes,
um trying to remember who did I push with. Um, I mean, it was just like, oh, somebody was drinking last night. It was just like all these details just sort of like kind of erupted, and it was just like, whoa.
Well,
It
and
was
you
like,
know, you don't know why is somebody got ego problems and they can't stand to lose. Maybe they were traumatized when they were a kid and made to feel like they were no good, and
mm,
now they have to prove to themselves that they're good, and it's not conscious, it's subconscious.
mm,
But the problem is if you're tied up with them, you're going to end up dealing with their trauma with your body.
yeah. Well, what I think would help for me, well, I mean, it's like pushing with my husband would
Yeah.
not activate me like what was happening. But I'm wondering if there's like someplace it would be good to work with another female for me.
Most classes in Tai Chi are usually pretty well divided between male and female.
Mhm,
So you can work with a female.
mhm.
However, as time goes on, you may want to branch out and work with some males because it's a whole different thing. I'll tell you what Kevin was referring to when he said this guy started crying. Um, this was in one of my classes, and I emphasized over and over and over again, don't fuck around. Don't horse around. You never know what you're dealing with when you're pushing with someone. You play by the rules. You don't fuck around. You don't suddenly go like that because you don't know what they're dealing with. Well, we had two guys in class, and one of them did exactly that. Exactly what I told him not to do. And what he didn't know was the other guy had a leg problem. He had locked ankles, and he had had locked ankles since he was a child. It's a physiological thing. His ankles don't move. And since they don't move at all, he ended up just falling backward and smashing into the ground, and the ground cement. And you know, he was upset, and he ought to have been upset. And it's like, I turned to the guy who did that. Why did you do that? I told you not to do that. I told you 3 times in a row not to do that. So why did you do that? Why he did it was he thought it was funny. Oh, I'm just going to fool around. It's funny. Ha 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 ha. That's when people get hurt. And I know the guy who pushed him. He's a really nice guy. But you take the cover off the unconscious, you're going to find monsters of the id. You're going to find problems down there. And this is a perfect example. People get hurt when nobody consciously means to hurt anybody.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Kevin.
and as someone who has, it's really easy to hurt me. Actually, I got hurt uh in a demonstration with oh gosh, um he moved to Israel. Uh
Oh, with Rand.
ran, yeah.
Yeah.
Um he grabbed my wrist too hard.
Yeah.
And
You
it messed up
you
the
just
whole arm for like
you,
forever.
you have to truly be friends with each other and treat each other as brother and sister. It doesn't mean that you can't be firm, but you have to be aware of whether you're hurting somebody or not.
Yeah.
It's not sparring. It's not about winning. Stop it. Stop the whole fucking winning thing. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Well, I think in this case it was probably Israeli military training.
Well, whatever it was too much. Kevin.
Yeah.
So my experience with this was with an Israeli woman in class.
Yeah.
And I have a bad back and I can't take a lot of pressure. And she was really pushing hard on me. And I kept going softer, softer, softer. And she kept pushing harder and harder. And then she went like, shut up. And then she went like this, like she's going to grab my face. I thought she was going to punch me in the throat. So I just put Pong into my arms stopped her, didn't do anything, and she just ran out of the room crying. It was the weirdest thing I've ever, you know. I was afraid of her, and she was afraid of me.
when you enter into simulated combat, you're going to experience things that maybe you don't even know are in you.
Yeah.
And you need to be aware of that with each other. You need to approach it with a sense of humor and with real compassion for each other. It's not about beating the other guy. It's a training program. You're both training. You're training partners. You're partners, right? So don't horse around, because that's when people get hurt and weird shit like what Kevin just explained
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. It's very strange.
Anyway, Jill, I think it's a good idea. When Kevin's up here some weekend, we'll
Mhm.
we'll do a class on push hands, and you can take it into your partnership or with somebody else you want to do.
Yeah.
Just don't ever push with somebody off the street. Just
Oh, I
don't.
don't think
Just
that's
don't do it.
what I.
It's fine to. Michael's a good teacher, and Michael's very attentive of other people's energy, so you certainly can push with Michael or his class. But
Right. Yeah.
other than that, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.